another instant classic in the night slate. Number 16, Texas A&M beating number 8 Notre Dame 41-40. The Fighting Irish are now 0-2 to start their 2025 season after making it all the way to the national title game last year. Let's go over the highest graded players, starting off with Texas A&M. This one's no surprise, Dalton. Brazel was not one of the 5 highest graded players for Tennessee. This one is easily the highest graded player for Texas A&M. Mario Craver, what a performance for him. 91.3 grade in the win. DJ Hicks, the D tackle, 78.3. Damian Sanford, the linebacker, 73. TJ Searcy, the edge rusher, 72.7. Albert Regis, the D tackle, 72.1. And Marcel Reed, the quarterback, with a 50.4 grade in the victory for the Aggies. Let's go over to Notre Dame with their highest graded players in the loss. Really the only defensive back that had a good game for Notre Dame was Leonard Moore, our number 1 corner in the country going into the year. He showed why with an elite 90.3 grade in the loss for the Fighting Irish. Wide receiver Malachi Fields, 74.2. Billy Strouth, the offensive guard, 72.7. Junior Tuimalaka, the edge rusher, 72.7. Eli Raridan, a really good tight end. Notre Dame's got once again, 72. And then CJ Carr, 65.7 at quarterback for the Fighting Irish. Dalton, for you, what told the story in this game?
You know, we came into this year talking so much about Texas A&M and the potentially lethal run game, right? You've got Marcel Reed at quarterback, Le'Veon Moss, Amari Daniels, Ruben Owens, Casey Concepcion, who could take a jet sweep to the house anytime, but it's been their passing game through 3 weeks that has carried them through it. In this game, 8 explosive pass plays for the 3rd straight week. They've got at least 8 explosive pass plays in 3 straight weeks. Max, they only did it twice all of last season. This passing game with Mario Craver, with Casey Concepcion in there, it's just a different animal. And I think you see Marcel Reed. Now, there were moments in this game for Marcel Reed where it was shaky. He was missing throws. I believe there was 3 or 4 turnover-worthy plays. It was not great all the time, but he hung in there until the very end. He made the big touchdown throw to Nate Burkircher. I mean, just this A&M team, if they're now going to be balanced, and we know they can run the football behind this offensive line. We know they have Le'Veon Moss. We know they have all these rushing threats. And yet the passing game has looked spectacular through the first 3 weeks. And if these 2 receivers, Craver and Concepcion, are going to play the way that they played in this game, they're going to be extremely hard to beat. And on the Notre Dame side of it, 8 explosive pass plays given up in this game. They only did that once all of last year against USC, and they still managed to win a high-scoring game that day. So, look, I think this A&M passing game is even better. I think early in the season we thought it was, especially going into Notre Dame and putting up 41 points. And this Notre Dame secondary, you mentioned it. Leonard Moore, spectacular again, best corner in the country. I'm in on that. But the rest of the secondary's got to figure it out because they did not look great against Miami and Carson Beck. They don't look great this week. I think there's obviously now Notre Dame is probably still going to, even at 0-2, they're still going to be favored probably every other game on their schedule. But USC's high-flying. Arkansas and Talon Green, they're pretty high-flying. There's going to be some offenses where this secondary's got to figure it out, and their pass rush is not all that great either after losing some veteran defensive linemen from last year's group. So Notre Dame, look, they've given up 68 points or 67 points through 2 games, I should say. They've only played 2 games. They got to figure it out on defense. This adjustment with some of the veteran players leaving from last year's team and then going from Al Golden to Chris Ash as their defensive coordinator, they have to figure this out because this Notre Dame team is designed to play elite defense, and they're not doing it right now.
Yeah, if you look at their grades right now, they have, I believe, 3 defensive backs who had below a 45 PFF grade in this game.
Yeah.
3 of them. And that's just, it's not good enough. That's really my stat total story right there. Notre Dame had a 53.8 defensive grade on passing plays in this one. This is not the same Notre Dame defense that we saw last year at all. They have struggled immensely in pass defense through the first 2 games, I should say, of the season. A 49.8 coverage grade against Texas A&M is their worst coverage grade since the 2022 season against USC in that one when Caleb Williams just teed off on them in that game. 58.9 pass rush grade. Dalton, worse since 2022 against USC once again. This Notre Dame pass defense you saw in the Miami game, you saw here in the Texas A&M game. They are really struggling right now. Notre Dame currently, they had the 3rd best coverage grade in the country last year, right?
I think they might have been second even.
Yeah, I'll check that real quick.
3. Either way, they were, any way you look at it, between them and Texas and Ohio State, they were a top 3 pass defense in college football last year.
They have the second worst coverage grade in the Power 4 right now. Second worst in the Power 4. They were third in the country last year behind Texas and Marshall. So second in the Power 4 last year, second best. Now it's the second worst coverage grade in the Power 4 right now. Fourth worst pass rush grade in the Power 4 right now. That's a major issue, and really the biggest reason why Notre Dame is 0-2 for the first time since 2007, and now all of a sudden, kind of like last year, Notre Dame has to rattle off 10 straight victories to make the college football playoff. I do not think a 9-3 Notre Dame team is getting into the playoff. There is still a chance, Dalton, that a 10-2 Notre Dame team might not get in, because if you look at their schedule right now, they don't have any really big marquee matchups as of right now the rest of the season. Now, maybe USC turns into a top 25 team, and maybe some other teams too, but as of right now, this schedule, and we see the playoff committee emphasizing even more and more every year, you need to have these big-time wins on your resume. Notre Dame is 0-2 against top 20 teams right now, and as of right now, there is not another top 25 team on their schedule. So I still think Notre Dame will get in with a 10-2 record, but now you have to go 10-2. You have to win 10 straight to make the playoff, and with this pass defense right now, I don't know if Notre Dame can do it.
I mean, you just look at the rest of their schedule, like you mentioned, having a reel off 10 in a row. They're going to beat Purdue at Arkansas. They probably could have used some help from Arkansas if they would have beat Ole Miss last night. We'll get to that. Yeah. Arkansas, a good chance they won't be ranked. They got to play Memphis this week. Boise State's already kind of out of that conversation. USC maybe gets ranked by the time we get there, depending on how they play the next month or so. But Boston College just lost to Stanford. Pitt just lost to West Virginia. Syracuse doesn't look great. Sorry. It's just there's not a lot here. That what Notre Dame needs probably more than anything else is USC to be undefeated going into that matchup October 18th. And even then USC they have to play Michigan State, Illinois, Michigan before that Notre Dame game. I just think you're talking about with Notre Dame, even if they reel off the 10 in a row, I don't think it's in their control. I really don't. When you look at, they're going to need to be like it was last year, where just about almost everybody that went 10-2 made it, at least from the Big Ten and the SEC, and then Notre Dame obviously to 11-1. They're going to need the chaos because there's just not going to be enough good wins here. And I know they've lost these two games at the wire, and that might get taken into consideration. And they will probably still be ranked somewhere in the top 25 still for the rest of the season, but at the end of the day, we're going to look back at Notre Dame, even if they go 10-2. And unless USC is undefeated in top 15 going into that game, which is possible if they beat Illinois and Michigan, if they win their next three games. But we're going to sit there and look at Notre Dame and go, what have you proven? And if they keep playing defense like this, they won't win 10 in a row anyway. It's not going to matter.
Yeah, it's really bad right now for this Notre Dame pass defense. Really, Leonard Moore is the only one that's playing at a good level right now. He's, again, the best corner in the country in my opinion, but even if you have the best corner in the country, you need a pass rush and you need more defensive backs than just one corner out there, and Notre Dame did not have that. And credit to Texas A&M, you mentioned them right there. Their receivers were getting open on everyone but Leonard Moore, really, in that game. So credit to them for getting open. That's what I'm most impressive right here. Mario Craver, man. He was unfreaking guardable in this win for the Aggies. He caught 7 of his 12 targets for 207 yards and a touchdown. He had 137 yards after the catch. He broke 4 tackles on his 7 catches too. This receiving core really helped out Marcel Reed, who didn't really have the best night. You can see by his PFF grade right there. You got Mario Craver, you got Casey Concepcion, Terry Bussey, who almost had the game-winning kick return for a touchdown, was called back. Didn't really matter because obviously it scored a touchdown to win the game anyways. But those 3, that is a lethal receiving trio. I had Concepcion as one of my top 10 receivers in the country going into the year. Mario Craver all of a sudden looks like a superstar right now. Terry Bussey was a 5-star recruit a couple years ago. Shows a lot of encouraging flashes through 2 years so far too. And the craziest part, Dalton, they put up 41 points. This run game for A&M hasn't really gotten going yet. And we thought going into the year for Texas A&M, with their offensive line, my number 3 offensive line in the country, with Marcel Reed as one of the most dynamic athletes at quarterback in the country, and with Texas A&M having one of the deepest running back rooms in the country, we all thought this offense would be predicated around the run game. And right now, Texas A&M is 3-0. And thanks in large part to how good this passing game has been, really how good these receivers have been for Texas A&M.
It's interesting because now they go into a week off and then they go home to play Auburn. And Texas A&M, you could say in all 3 games they've played, have not played their best football all the way around. I think Mike Elko should actually feel really encouraged by that, where you go, okay, take this week off, fix the things you need to fix. Their defense has not played A-plus football yet for sure in any of their 3 games. Their run game is not all the way there yet. Even Marcel Reed in this game, and look, you're battling against Notre Dame, Leonard Moore in that secondary, which still talent-wise should be pretty good. I think A&M has to feel so good. This is one of the biggest road wins any team is going to get all year.
Yep.
Even with Notre Dame starting 0-2, they're still going to be ranked all year. And I mean, you look right here at the last play by Burkirch. That's just unreal play also on that, just boxing out Drake Bowen. But you look at this runway, though, all of a sudden, that A&M has. Their next 4 games. Auburn, fun game, but they get it at home. Mississippi State, better, but they get it at home. Florida, struggling right now. And then Arkansas, it's a real runway for them to start 7-0, and then you get into the real tough parts of their schedule. But Texas A&M, this win now, this is a statement to me that they're a playoff contender as well. The SEC race is wide open if Texas A&M especially can beat a team like Notre Dame on the road in this passing. And again, they're not playing their best football yet. They played a B-plus game, if that, especially not on defense. You know Mike Elko takes more pride in this defense, and they've given up 22 points at least in each of the first 3 games. There's a long way to go here for A&M, but there's a real runway for them to be in major playoff contention also.
And it's crazy because going into the season, if we would have previewed this game in August, say, we would have said the biggest advantage Notre Dame probably has is that secondary against Marcel Reed as a passer and maybe those receivers. And that was not the case. It was the complete opposite. Texas A&M's receivers dominated Notre Dame in this one. So really impressive. You do want to shout out Leonard Moore, though, because he was locked down this game.
Yeah, I think it speaks to the theme that if you're playing against Notre Dame, I think Leonard Moore has to start getting the Sauce Gardner, Darrell Revis treatment. Yeah. Just don't throw it 15. Just don't do it. 5 targets, 1 catch allowed for 11 yards, interception, 2 pass breakups, 90.8 coverage grade. I think that's the very first thing if I was playing against Notre Dame that I would say as part of the game plan. Not X's and O's, not nothing. Hey, you see number 15? Don't throw it in that direction. Just don't do it. He's the best corner in the country, no question. The rest of the secondary right now for Notre Dame, kind of a mess. You throw it at 15, you do so at your own peril. I don't think there's any question after 2026 that this is going to be a first-round pick. He's the best corner in the country, and I think it's not that it works in Notre Dame's detriment. I just think that's what it has to be now. I would, if it's me and I'm an offensive coordinator, I'm trying to walk out of a game against Notre Dame with 0 targets at Leonard Moore. None. I just don't. It is not worth your time. You're wasting a play. There's a good chance you're going to turn the football over. This kid is special. He played special football on this night despite the rest of that unit not playing well at all. Leonard Moore is a special football player. And right now, easily, when you look at that 2027 class, the best corner in that class, easy.
If I'm Chris Ash and Marcus Freeman, with the amount of cover 1 they play, which is man coverage across the board and 1 safety back, I'll tell that free safety, hey, just go to the other side of the field and help out whoever they're.
Help us out elsewhere. I mean,
let Leonard Moore just be one-on-one.
You could even start to run zone coverages and things like that everywhere else and just lock more. If there's somebody you feel like is the big threat that any given week, I know there's not a ton of great receivers left on their schedule, but any given week.
I mean, that USC game. All of a sudden,
Jacoby
Lane and Mekhi Lemon.
What you probably have to do, and we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but is you lock him on Lane and you let the rest of the defense surround Lemon, right? Because Lemon's in the slot all the time. But either way, we'll get to that in a month. But that's just the theme for me is do not throw at number 15 if you're an opposing offense. That's step number 1. Just create the rest of your game plan around that. Don't even bother because he's elite and he's man. Oh man, I can't wait for him to get to the NFL already.
It's 2 more years too. He's only a true sophomore right now for Notre Dame, and I just remember watching his true freshman tape last year, obviously, and I just got reminded of like Derek Stingley Jr. and Will Johnson, how good they were as true freshmen, and of course now how good they are now in the NFL. Leonard Moore is one of those next guys, man. He is a true superstar and one of the names to know in what looks like a loaded 2027 NFL draft. So we kind of did the Notre Dame part already. Okay, you got to ride off 10 in a row now. You can't lose another game. Texas A&M, how do you change your opinion on them right now? How legit are they a contender in the SEC and maybe even nationally now, too?
Extremely legitimate. National title, there's probably more to go because now you're getting into the SEC part of the schedule. Fascinating game in 2 weeks against Auburn, and then they have a runway where there's a few teams they're better than. And then you look at the back end of this schedule, LSU, Missouri, South Carolina, Texas, all in the second half of the schedule. But I think with a Notre Dame win in their pocket, especially on the road, and now you've got the SEC schedule. Look, I think a Texas – here's the easiest way to put this. When we talk about Notre Dame, even head-to-head here with a tiebreaker. A&M goes 10-2. Notre Dame goes 10-2. Head-to-head first and foremost, but even strength of schedule also – A&M gets in easy over Notre Dame. This is a scenario now where Notre Dame is they're rooting for A&M to go 9-3 or worse all of a sudden. And I'll tell you what, if A&M's good enough again to win at Notre Dame, not playing their best football, wait till they get to a scenario where they are playing their best football. And this, what is it? They're only leaving the state of Texas 3 more times the rest of the year.
Wow.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. So they have set themselves up with this win to make a prime run at a playoff spot.
Major win for Texas A&M, taking down number 8 Notre Dame. Notre Dame now 0-2 for the first time since 2007 after making the national title game last year. So Notre Dame's backs are really, really against the wall right now if they want to make it back to the college football playoff.